my review of the BMW i7 was, I think it was pretty scathing. Safe to say, right? Yeah. I said it was way too expensive for the so-called incredible technology that BMW say it has. And frankly, it didn't even have any incredible technology, aside from some very impressive infotainment systems and nice comfy seats and, a few of those sorts of things. There's nothing that really stands out. There's no real justification for the crazy price. This car, on the other hand, is different. And this new electric SUV from Volvo actually has me very excited. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. Great to see you. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back, everyone else. And boy, I love this. I've actually been waiting for this vehicle now for a while. There's not much available this size in terms of electric vehicles. And I thought, it could be a hit. It could be a miss. It's definitely a hit. Why do I say that? Well, it's actually worth the money you're going to have to pay. It's not going to be cheap. Yeah, it'll be cheaper than a BMW i7. But I think a lot better, a lot more practical, and really, in many ways, even more luxurious. What do I mean by that? Well, interestingly, the AI, the artificial tech in this car, seems to be significantly more advanced, and I mean way better than the technology in the i7. But before we get to that, how big is this car? Well, it's 4,950 millimeters long, 1,958 millimeters wide, and 1,776 millimeters high. That in inches, 195 inches long, 79 inches wide, 70 inches high, and the wheelbase is 117 inches or around 3 meters. It's not a massive car, but it's definitely big enough to have 7 seats, have a family, put bikes in the car, go traveling. This is the kind of car, the kind of electric car that we don't really have at the moment, outside of China, that is. In China, there's a few. But, it's Volvo, so we all know it's coming. And, well, Volvo have already said it's coming. Everywhere that they sell Volvos, you're going to have to buy one of these pretty soon. The UK, the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Europe. Need I go on? No, of course not. And the other thing is, look at it. It doesn't look polarizing like the i7. It actually looks simple, minimalistic, stylish, and dare I say it, I think it's actually kind of beautiful. When is the car actually coming out? Well, apparently first deliveries will begin at the start of 2024 in the UK, looking at probably similar time frame in most countries around the world. What's the price going to be? Well, depends on what country you're in. The UK starting price is pretty expensive. The launch model will be a more expensive model. It'll be about £100,000 in the UK. Probably in Australia, I'd say about $150,000. In the US, around $100,000 for that launch model. But they're going to bring out a cheaper model, which will be about £75,000 in the UK. I believe around about $80,000 in the US, and probably about $115,000 to $120,000 in Australia. So yeah, it's not cheap, but think about it. Actually, it's pretty impressive. It's got a 111 kilowatt hour battery pack, 107 kilowatt hour usable pack, up to 600 kilometers of WLTP range, meaning, you're not going to get range anxiety. It's got good range. And there's going to be 2 twin motor variants. So dual motor variants, as Tesla would call it, 1 motor at the front, 1 motor at the back, all-wheel drive, obviously. There's going to be a standard EX90 and there's going to be a performance model. The standard model, that gets that same big battery pack and it has 364 miles of range. The performance model has 360 miles of range. There's barely any punishment for having the extra performance. Only 4 miles of range. That's really good range figure, I think. The performance model has 510 horsepower and 671 pound-feet of torque. And that moves this 2.8 ton vehicle from 0 to 62 miles an hour or 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.9 seconds. Now, 2.8 ton. How much of that is in metric and imperial? Well, it's 2,818 kilos, which is 6,200 pounds. It's almost exactly the same weight as the BMW i7. But as you can see, it's clearly a bigger car. It's an SUV. Now, the standard version will have 400 horsepower and 568 pound-feet of torque. So, yeah, the standard version has more than enough power. In addition to that, it's got decent fast charging. 250 kilowatt fast charging means charging from 10 to 80% in around 30 minutes, which seems pretty good to me. And in fact, that means it can charge significantly faster than the BMW i7, super technological luxury vehicle. I don't understand that. Anyhow, Volvo, interestingly, I mean, they're making some claims about the artificial intelligence of this car, the features that it has in that sense, but they're not making the kind of extreme claims that BMW made about the i7, which it's refreshing. I like to see when companies don't big note their vehicles too much, more than is needed, and then change customers' expectations, make them think, oh, this is going to be some amazing car when it turns out to be just decent. Now, one other cool feature that this car has, which I am a big fan of, is bidirectional charging. All the hardware is there so that you can charge your vehicle at night when electricity is cheapest, or obviously during the day to get the sun from your solar panels, and then you can use it as a power bank for your home during the day. So you do have that option. I mean, it would be really good to have a battery pack this size if there was, say, an emergency, if the power went out at your home. Recently, I have a friend who lives in an area where they had no power for 4 days. A battery pack this size could actually run your house for 4 days. So if you didn't already realize it, this is the successor to the Volvo XC90. The XC90, of course, is a gasoline-powered SUV. It was a really popular SUV. Looks really good as well. Clearly, its time was over. Volvo are saying, what are they saying? Volvo are saying some good stuff. They're saying they're going electric only within a couple of years. Electric only within a couple of years. So as you can see, I haven't made any videos on this channel saying Volvo's going to go bankrupt or Geely's going to go bankrupt. I mean, Volvo clearly have a good strategy. They're saying, you know what? People don't want gasoline-powered cars. We're making products that people want. Something that, we're doing what Toyota doesn't want to do. Now, even though this car looks quite similar to that vehicle, and even the dimensions are very similar, it's an entirely new car. And one of the things I noticed is it has flush door handles for aerodynamics. It has LiDAR on the roof, and the proportions of it, they just look kind of just right to me. It's going to be built in climate neutral factories in the United States and in China. And it's going to share a lot with the Polestar 3. It'll be based on Volvo's new electric architecture, the EX90. Will actually have some incredibly impressive features. Now, if you're an Aussie or if you use a metric system, that power is 380 kilowatt and 910 newton meters of torque for the performance model. So this is really you could actually compare this vehicle to something like Mercedes-Benz AMG SUV of a similar size. It's got very similar power and torque figures to one of those vehicles, but it's actually cheaper. It has adjustable regen braking, so you can set the regen braking at different levels. It's got a one pedal driving option. It's got electric torque vectoring via clutches at the rear axle, and it has an efficiency-minded rear motor uncoupling. So you can actually turn off that rear motor and then you'll get better range from the car. So that's probably a really good idea if you're driving on a freeway or a highway for a long period of time. Just turn off the rear motor. Now it's going to come standard with twin chamber air suspension and also active dampers with at least 2 driving modes called comfort and dynamic. So you're going to get pretty good comfort out of this car. Obviously adaptive dampers combined with air suspension. I think there's not many vehicle manufacturers doing that in the same model. Now Volvo says that it has a whole lot of recycled materials in the car, which sounds good to me. And also they've focused a lot on safety. In fact, the standard safety equipment in this car is significantly higher and better than Volvo's gasoline-powered cars. Yet another reason, right, to buy this car. Now, Volvo say it's designed to actually get to know you and to understand you and its surroundings, and it will get smarter and safer over time as it learns from new data and receives updates. So it sounds a little bit like a neural network in a way almost. Now, I don't know if that's true, but that's what they're saying. But as I mentioned before, it has LiDAR, and the LiDAR is connected to the car's sensors and cameras, and also the car's high-performance computers, where NVIDIA Drive runs Volvo Cars' in-house software to create a real-time and a 360-degree view of the world. So as well as the driver assist features that come standard on a lot of cars these days, there's also a new Pro Pilot Assist with steering support while changing lanes. It's kind of like a level 2 autonomy. Interior sensors and cameras also gauge eye concentration and to either nudge you into paying attention or safely slowing the vehicle down if you've fallen asleep. I think that's a really good idea. There are definitely crashes where people fall asleep. That's still happening all over the world. Now, it also has state-of-the-art sensor set that Volvo claims is ready for unsupervised driving in the future if they're able to work out how to make that work. One of the other features I like of this car, it's a little bit like Tesla. They've followed Tesla's lead here. It has sensors inside the car to have to detect if there's children or dogs inside the car, and then it will actually let you know, or turn on the climate control system to make sure the car stays cool inside. And people still do this. They still forget they've left their kid in there or their dog in the car. That's a good feature. Now, on the inside, there's a 15-inch center screen which has a 5G connection and Google built in using its operating system. That means Google Apps and services including Google Assistant and Google Maps are available. So is Apple CarPlay. In terms of technology, the EX90's core systems and AI are powered by NVIDIA drive platforms, Xavier and Orin Qualcomm Technologies Snapdragon with the visualization capabilities of Unreal Engine from the world of gaming and in-house software by Volvo engineers. In other words, your Volvo EX90 won't be just a new car. It will be a highly advanced computer on wheels, much like a Tesla, even better. Just like your smartphone or your laptop, the Volvo EX90 is designed to get better over time, thanks to regular over-the-air software updates. Now, there's a lot of car companies claiming regular over-the-air software updates. They've been claiming this for years and they haven't delivered very much, if anything at all. I actually think Volvo will deliver on these updates. One of the other things I like about this car is the sound, right? In EVs, you have a better opportunity to really hear a sound system with no engine. The Bowers and Wilkins audio system features Dolby Atmos as a Volvo first, as well as headrest integrated speakers for a more immersive sound. Rather than needing to carry a fob, you're able to use your smartphone as the key that's synced to your driver profile. And starting with the EX90, Volvo says it will reveal one new electric car every single year for the next 10 years until 2032. And it aims to sell only fully electric cars within the next 5 years and be a climate neutral company by 2040. As you can see, I'm a big fan of this car. I honestly don't think there's any technology in the BMW i7 that I just reviewed that actually is better than anything in this. Nothing. Okay, there's one thing, it's got some sort of adaptive anti-roll bar system in the i7. Other than that, in my opinion, this is a possible contender for World Electric Car of the Year. Now, I rarely do this. Usually, I think I'm pretty objective on this channel. If EVs are too heavy, I call them out. But frankly, it's not. I mean, 2,800 kilos for a vehicle this size, with a battery pack this size, is completely reasonable. Think about it, right? There's EVs from other car companies that are way smaller than this that weigh nearly as much. I think they've done a great job. Kudos to Volvo. I'm excited to see this new electric car. I'm excited to see this come because we know for sure it's coming to, well, every major car market in the world. And frankly, my friends, this is a car I would absolutely consider buying. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Very soon, I'll compare this to the Tesla Model X. Have a great day, and I'll see you again on the next video. Bye-bye.